Yo, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. In my video, I will be reacting to 24 life-changing habits to change your life going into 2024. This video just came out 6 hours ago. This is my first time watching this. This is a authentic reaction. Let's get into this video, and I want you guys to reflect on how you guys like 2023 was this year a good year for you, like what things you did good this year, what things you're still working on and you're still improving to going into 2024. So 2023 is almost about to be over. So whatever goals I had worked hard and accomplish them going into 2024. Don't start early 2024. Just start now and just do it now. I don't believe in that new year, new me stuff anymore. I don't believe in none of that anymore.
For I cannot believe we are already into another new year. And whether 2023 was a fantastic year for you or maybe it was an awful year for you, but we are now entering a brand new year. And you can start incorporating these habits today, because there's a difference between incorporating habits later versus I'm not gonna wait till January when I can start now. Habit number one, I got this from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, but write a personal statement for yourself. No, not the college personal statement where you used to apply to colleges, but truly, what is your life motto and what do you stand by? A personal mission statement is helpful because anytime something comes up in your life and you feel swayed, you feel discouraged, or you don't know how to decide, you can go back to your personal statement and realize, how can I ensure that my decisions are in alignment with my personal statement? Everyone's personal statement can look totally different, but I am currently in the works of writing mine, and I'll make sure to let you guys know what my personal statement is once I am done and completed, because we always change. Definitely family is important, my belief in God, my work ethics, and how I run this channel. All of those things are things we can start to talk about. Write it down. There's a difference between having it in your head versus having it literally written out for you and it's looking back at you. Write it down. Number 2, create systems over goals. A lot of people set goals, whether it is, I want to have 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, I want to be at this weight, I want to make this much money. But really, you can say all these goals, but if you don't have a system set in place to help you get there, the chances of it actually happening is a little slim. So how you're going to do this is important. I will do blank by doing blank, blank, blank. Usually goals require more than just one action plan. For example, I will grow stronger by going to the gym and lifting weights twice a week. There's my system, action plan. But be realistic. Notice I didn't say I'm going to go to the gym 5 times a week, because you have to work on something that is attainable, realistic, and then you can add on from there if you feel like you've got it down and it's become a habit. Number 3, learn to say no more often, and this is something that I am still working on. As a people pleaser, I always have to remind myself that I serve an audience of one, and I do not always have to say yes. Sometimes saying yes is not the most loving answer if you are not going to be 100% present for that person. If you're saying yes to all these different opportunities and it's draining your energy, then that's not really being loving and giving 100% of yourself to others. So when it comes to YouTube videos, what really helps the YouTuber is if you smash that like button, hit the subscribe, and comment down below something that you found interesting so far. And also watch the video all the way through. Number 4, set a healthy work-life balance, whether it's in schoolwork or regular work. I am still working through this, but remembering that work is not your life. And I have my YouTube job, and then I also have my educational facilitator job. Turning off my work emails is something I have to tell myself that it's okay to do. So I literally go into my Gmail, and when it's time for me to stop working, I just turn it off. And then the next day, I turn it back on. But this is just a way for me to not mentally feel like I have to constantly check my work emails. Unless, of course, you're pressed for time and your job expects you to check it. But as someone who works in education, I am not on call. So I'm trying to remind myself I'm still a good worker if I stop right when I'm supposed to stop. Work cannot be our lives, and it cannot define us. That's just not what it's meant to be. We do not serve money, and money is not our master. Many times money and work kind of go hand in hand. So make sure you know that it is not defining, and have work-life
having money
balance.
is good. You
Let's
have
say
to
you're
know
like,
how to, like,
okay,
manage
well, my job
and
doesn't
use your
really
money
allow
properly,
for
but
that. Be
but money
okay
can't
getting
solve
uncomfortable
every
and
issue.
looking for
Money is
another
the
job
root
while you still
of
have your
all
job.
evil.
Definitely
When
look
you
for a
have
job while you
money,
have a
begin
job,
to
but
see
it's
people
okay to
true
see what else
colors
is out
too.
there. Number 5, incorporate regular exercise and movement into your life. Now, this does not mean you always have to have a gym membership or go to a group fitness class, which is what I like to do, but it's incorporating movement in every part of your life. If you forgot something at the car, don't be like, oh, now I have to go walk over there. It's a joy to be able to walk. Go do that. So anytime I have to make multiple trips, I know, like,
Walking
you know
is one of my
what?
good
It's okay.
exercises.
You don't need a walking pad. Although having a walking pad does help me move a little bit more, but if you feel safe enough to walk around in your neighborhood, please do so. And because I live in California, it's a society that is really heavily reliant on cars. So we're just sitting and we move and we sit. But in places like Asia, I was just walking so much. Number 6, on top of exercising, it's great to do cardio and it's great to walk, but we need to be lifting weights, women and men, because it really helps fight against osteoporosis. It really helps with our bone density. I hear a lot of comments, especially from women, who are like, oh, I don't want to lift because I don't want to get big. And my first thought is, oh, do you think I'm big? Because I lift weights all the time. And this is just a reminder that that's not how it works. You have to be eating a lot of food on top of a lot of protein, on top of lifting really heavy weights. So if we're lifting 12, 15, 20 pounds, like, it's fine. For me, I tend to lift 12, 15 to 20 pound weights. But even if I went up to 40 pounds, I'm not going to get as big and muscular as my husband. Which leads me to my next point, number 7, eat more protein. Not only is it going to provide us with a lot more energy, it also helps repair our bodies after really intense workouts, and it also helps keep you fuller longer. Now, there are vegan proteins and there are whey proteins. There's so many different types of proteins. Make sure that protein is a part of your diet, some way, shape, or form. There was a phase where I drank a protein shake every single day non-stop for 6 months, and I felt my best and looked my best. Number 8, create a sleep schedule. It really helps you feel more energetic when you're sleeping around the same time and waking up around the same time, because when you're kind of all over the place during the day, you also feel a little all over the place. But having a sleep schedule has really helped regulate my body and to just feel like I can do a lot more. Number 9, this is something that I feel like adults, we just have a harder time with because we're not forced to be in community anymore, but find community. We are not meant to be alone. And when we're going to school, we kind of see the same people every day, and we easily shape community because we're surrounded by so many people. But after you graduate college, you're not really in that anymore. And unless you're really good friends with your coworkers, it's hard to find community. But community is so important for us to know that we are not alone, that when we have issues, you have support, and that you're really not meant to walk this life alone. For me, a lot of my family members are in Korea. I work remote, so I don't really see my coworkers. But I am so thankful for my church community as well as my fitness community. Not only my husband and I, but we get to support them too. But if we're just at home, unfortunately, you know, friends and community, they're not gonna just show up at your door. You need to go out there and also be okay talking to people. Number 10, incorporating breathing into our lives to help regulate. So box breathing is something that I learned. When did I learn this? Was it in therapy or was it when I was a teacher? Either way, whenever I am very overwhelmed and I just have really big feelings, I need to hone it down, regulate myself, and remember to breathe. So I've talked about this in a lot of my other videos, but box breathing is very helpful to slow your central nervous system, calm it down, and to also get more oxygen to the front part of your brain. Because many times when we're in a crisis mode of fight or flight, there's just too much happening up here and we need to calm it down. Number 11, be mindful and realistic of how much time you spend on social media, because social media is not real. I try very hard to literally just post what's going on in my life in a real authentic way, but many times all we see on social media are the good parts. Nobody knows when I'm crying in a corner all upset about my life, but for the most part I'm sharing about the yummy food I had or the places I've traveled to, and my feed can just be filled with people with nice cars, nice houses, nice places to live with natural lighting, all of those things. That is not the reality. People are going through a lot of stuff internally. Doesn't matter if your life looks looks all pretty and sparkly if inside you feel like you are rotting. But people aren't sharing that in social media. Just remember, we are all humans and we all feel a lot of different things. So be mindful of how it's affecting your life. If you're trying to compare yourself with a lot of other people, then maybe it's time to kind of pause and take a break. I took a break from social media, Instagram specifically, for an entire week. I just felt really present.
Felt
a lot happier. But I still like Instagram as content creator and being able to share things. I have to just remember not to go down the rabbit hole of comparison. Number 12. This is a life tip that my friend told me about, and I read into it, and it's true. To drink red raspberry leaf tea because it's supposed to really help with menstrual cramps. And I drank it for about 3 weeks, and then during the week I was supposed to be on my lady time. I was in Japan, and my cramps, I knew they were coming, but it didn't feel like someone just punched me in the gut. Now I would say I have pretty tolerable cramps. I do have to take ibuprofen, but while I was in Japan, I felt like I didn't really have to. But try it out and let me know. Number 13, practice self-awareness and reflection by also looking at other people's body language. So in Korean, this is called nunchi, and I feel like I have really fast nunchi. I'm able to catch people's expressions and the way their body shifts when I'm talking to them, and I'm not opposed to just calling someone out right then and there and asking like, oh, did I offend you, or was that offensive? And sometimes it's something like, oh no, it's fine. But this is a way of creating safety for your friendships, just for them to know, hey, if I said something that may have taken you back, let's face it right then and there. I just try to be very mindful of my surroundings and how people respond and react, because our intention is never to purposefully hurt someone or offend them. Sometimes we're just not aware. So body language is a way to catch that. Number 14, find reading habits that work for you. For me, it's reading about 5 pages a day. That's the most I can do. And if I'm reading multiple books, then I'll maybe read 2 or 3 pages per book. So right now I'm trying to read through 5 different books, and so I feel like I'm moving quite slowly. That's what my mind is capable of handling right now. Well, I know some people who can sit and read non-stop for like 2 hours a day. Now everybody needs to find just kind of what works for them, but reading is still so important even when it's not forced upon you during school. Number 15, this is something, again, these are all things I'm working on too, but limit the amount of times you say sorry. A lot of times I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't do this, or I'm sorry, da da da, but it's not my fault. It's okay not to say sorry. It doesn't mean you're rude. We just don't want to water down what sorry even means. So if it's not your fault, don't say sorry, just say what you think. Sorry is apologizing for a wrong or making somebody feel bad when you didn't mean to. 16, focus on your posture and your mobility. Now that I'm in my 30s, I am being very mindful of my posture. And some habits I tend to have is I clench my jaw tightly when I'm stressed, like holding a lot of pressure. Another thing is I tend to kind of have text neck, where my head feels like it's a lot more forward, so I have to remind myself to pull it back. And then my shoulders, when I'm really stressed, tends to tense up a lot. Yeah, just making sure you're not holding tension in all these different parts of our bodies, whether it's like your foot or your fingers. But I'm also learning a lot about engaging our core and our pelvic floor. Number 17, check on your friends and make sure you're having meaningful conversations. As I get older, I find that those friendships where you just have a lot of fun, those are all great, but you really want to have meaningful conversations and figure out what's going on in their lives and creating space for that and normalizing it. Perhaps it's the introvert in me, but I prefer to have really deep one-on-one or two-on-one conversations that's truly about, you know, what's going on in your work life, what's going on in your marriage, what are some plans that you have in the next few years, and what are some worries and doubts you have. Like, let's talk about it. Those friendships are so meaningful to me, to know that we can encourage each other and spur each other on towards a meaningful and purposeful direction that's not just based on like having fun and being silly, truly being accountable with each other. Number 18, you all know I love using my credit cards to gain points for travel, but the habit that I always have in my head is to use the credit card like it's a debit card. A debit card, it's linked straight to your checking account, and if you use the card, it pulls from your checking account immediately. But with a credit card, you're essentially borrowing money and then you pay it off. But I like to pay off my cards literally the week that I charged it. So let's say I charge my card Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then Friday, I literally just pay off everything I spent that week. And I make sure that I have enough in my checking to pay it off. If you have $200 in your credit card, no, you should not get a $400 item of something. because
Nope.
you don't have enough. And that's how you prevent yourself from going into credit card debt. I literally just like to have it all out of my checking, and I also try to keep the amount I have in my checking quite minimal, so I'm not tempted to spend a lot. Number 19, be generous. Be more generous in 2024. And the only way to combat selfishness is actually to be generous. So many times in our lives, I feel like I can focus on myself and be like, oh, but I could use this for myself in so many different ways. But we need more ways to help other people and realize that the world doesn't revolve around us, and we're going to be okay. And I want to be a part of a community and a world where other people are not just thinking about themselves, but are looking out for others. And for me, as a believer, I also believe that the money that we have is not ours, and we are to steward it wisely, and that is to be generous, because we've already been given so much. Number 20, schedule your life. One of my favorite things to do is go on Google Calendar, and I just schedule my life. It's okay to also leave wiggle room in case things change, but I like to just have it on there, especially in my workouts, because if I wait until I just feel like it, I most likely won't. But if it's scheduled, I tend to stick to my schedules. 21, listen more before you speak. And if you're watching this video, then you're really listening to me talk a lot, which means you're practicing your listening skills. But when you're in conversations with someone else and you're able to talk, make sure you're also giving space to listen. And don't listen just so that you can respond, but truly listen to what the person is saying, how they're saying it, why are they saying this. Number 22, which I touched on a little bit, appreciate the little things in our lives, and remember we are not entitled to anything. Many times I get sad of like, oh, I wish I could have this. How come other people get to have this and I don't? And I have to remind myself, we're not entitled to these things. God doesn't owe us anything, but every good and perfect gift is from the Lord. And He's a gracious Father who loves to give gifts to His children, but He doesn't have to, and that's what I remind myself all the time. Gratitude is something I always have to remind myself to do. We have so much to be thankful for, but entitlement or comparison can really rob us of that joy. So be mindful and stay on guard. Number 23, maximize your time for efficiency. I am all about efficiency, and I know some people who just need to put a little more pep in their step. If you're spending 2 hours at the gym, I guarantee you don't have to spend 2 hours at the gym. I am all about being efficient, so walking on the treadmill for 2 hours, it's still movement and it's still great. But if you could put some pep in your step and get it done in 45 minutes by running a little bit, jogging a little bit, walking as fast as you can, that makes a difference. If I can get one task done and it's in the process, then I like to start something else and I just go and try to get as many things done in a short amount of time. For example, if I am doing laundry, then I know I have 40 minutes before I have to transfer from the washer to the dryer to get something else done in between. And number 24, one of my favorite tips when it comes to life and decluttering is to find a home for everything and actually put it in that home. And if you find that your place just has way too much stuff, you need to start getting rid of things. Whether it's just one item a day, you decide I'm either going to donate or toss. Next day, one item that you're going to donate or toss. And do that for a month and you'll have gotten rid of 30 things. And same thing with cleaning. Doing one thing a day, just put one thing away, and in a week you would have put away 7 things already. So I hope that these habits help you in the new year, and I can't wait to see you guys in 2024 and just all of the different adventures we'll get to go on together. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you later.
Stay tuned for my next video.
Bye.
Thank you.